Welcome to All About Stocks. Today we're going to catch up on what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. So be a little bit patient with me today. I'm going to be playing with some features that I'm not exactly familiar with, but I'm hoping it helps with catching up with or letting y'all know what's going on with Russia and Putin and what's going on. So let's dive right into it. So if you watched an earlier video, I tried to explain everything, what's going on with a risk map, and I did my best. I'm going to try to, dig a little deeper, or not really dig a little deeper. I'm going to try to explain real fast what's going on with Russia and NATO just briefly. So just real briefly, you have Moscow right here, you have Ukraine right here, and NATO, let's see here, NATO is NATO has this. They're saying they're not expanding anymore, but they're still allowing countries to join. However, NATO is saying that they are not going to allow Ukraine to join NATO. However, they are sending troops to protect Ukraine. Putin is saying that he does not want any NATO country, anyone with NATO to protect Ukraine. However, all NATO countries are now going to protect Ukraine. Let's see here. So as of now, we have members of NATO. As far as I've been able to research, we do not have members of the U.S. in members of the U.S. are not in Ukraine, but they are surrounding or around Ukraine. Now, the U.S. is saying that they are prepared to help Ukraine. We have something like 8,500 troops who are prepared to go to Ukraine at any time. And there are other members of NATO who have moved into Ukraine. And Ukraine would be right through here. Now Russia is going to be, we'll change this color. And we're going to make, this would be Russia. Now, all Putin's saying is, hey, Ukraine cannot be a member of NATO. And Putin is very specifically saying, hey, Ukraine, it used to be a big part of Russia, and there's a lot of Russian-speaking members, and there needs to be a pact, or basically Russia needs to have a member or a friendly deal going on with Ukraine, which you need to understand. There's a cultural guidance there, a cultural understanding between Russia and Ukraine. There was that Soviet Union there. So when the Soviet Union collapsed, then all Putin's trying to, so Putin basically wants to reunite the Soviet Union. However, to do that, he has to win over these countries right. Still having trouble with this here. he has to win over these countries right here. However, going back to here, now so right now he has a alliance with Belarus, and I believe he also has an alliance right here and with Lithuania. So Belarus and I believe Lithuania and Latvia. I know I'm butchering these names. I do apologize. I'm trying my best. Now, he does have troops surrounding right through here. And let's use this color for troops. He has troops basically surrounding Ukraine. Now, as far as this is, Belarus also has troops. We're just going to leave the same color. But the alliance with Russia, Belarus, and the troops, they're prepared to invade Ukraine. They've stockpiled blood. They've stockpiled ammunition. They've stockpiled everything they need to invade Ukraine. Putin went to the Olympics and he talked to China. I'm not even going there. He talked to China and they made an alliance. So Russia and China now have an alliance. Now, we know that China wants to invade Taiwan. We know that China has been wanting the China Sea, the North China Sea, I believe it is, and they want to take over Taiwan and that entire area, which, if you've been following China, they've also been doing the Belton Road Initiative. But we'll get to China. So NATO's saying that there's a peaceful way for all this to end. Let me get another color here. I know I got so many colors going on here. So you have NATO sending in troops. I can't even see that color. You have NATO over here, and they have troops on standby. Some of them, I'm sure, are in Ukraine. It's hard to find actual information from NATO. I'm using Google and I'm using other YouTubers, so I'm not able to find a lot of information about troop movement on NATO, and I'm sure that's for good reason. However, there's I'm sure what NATO is doing is they don't want to actually be in Ukraine, but they want to be able to say, hey, we're protecting Ukraine. So if things do happen, they can move in and help Ukraine out. They don't want Ukraine to just get slaughtered or all the people to get slaughtered. However, earlier today is the 10th, the media came out and said, hey, foreign cyber attackers released a statement saying that there's massive amount of cyber attackers stating, beware, we're coming to get you. Of course. Now, what did Biden say about 2 weeks ago? Any invasion, any cyber attack, any type of attack whatsoever will be considered an invasion. So, you have Biden kind of threatening Russia. I mean, you have to be very liberal with invasion because Biden's being very liberal with it. Now, Russia has not advanced, but at the same time, you have to see from Biden's, or not Biden, but from, excuse me, I was changing colors again. I do apologize. I am trying my best on this. You have to see it from Putin's perspective. You do not move massive amounts of troops all the way across your country, spend all these resources for no reason. It's not going to be a bluff. And the media is sitting here egging on Putin, at least from the U.S. side, because the media is saying, hey, it's a bluff, it's a failed bluff. And now they're saying, hey, nothing's going to happen. And part of that is, of course, from your citizen side. You don't want to scare citizens, the people in multiple countries. You don't want to say, hey, war's breaking out. Now, the Ukraine people are saying, hey, we have a military. We've been dealing with the Russians for years. And this has been going on from Ukraine and Russia. There's been war going on, well, invasion, attacks, whatever you'd like to call it, since 2014. This has been ongoing. This is not anything new. Now, we're going to move on because this is, like I said, nothing new. Right here's, like I said, I'm not used to this. I do apologize. We're going back to this right here is nothing new. Only thing that's new about this is the fact that in the U.S., all of a sudden, there's a spotlight on it. Why is there a spotlight on it? Is because Biden has a horrible popularity vote and the stock market is crashing. Now, is there a chance that, Putin actually does invade? Yes. Is there a high probability? Yeah, probably, because he's been attacking Ukraine since, 2014? So, now, is he planning to actually take over Ukraine? Well, probably. All the signs are right there, and now that there's a huge spotlight on it, yeah, it makes sense. He's been trying to get attention on Russia. He's trying to get, massive media attention and get, more, Russia into the, how do I put that, into the world focus. So he wants to make Russia a power nation. And by taking over Ukraine, that puts Russia in a powerhouse. And it's not like, oh, he took over Ukraine, so that makes him makes Russia a powerful country. No, but it does give Putin and Ukraine, or Putin and Russia, kind of a control factor, and that's what Putin wants, is control. Now, let me take a second. I just erased all this, and we're going to adjust right here. Now, what we have here is China, we have Taiwan, and we have the North China Sea. Now, I've heard that China has been building a wall around Vietnam. I've heard it, can't confirm it. As far as I know, it's just rumors. Now, let's talk about China's Beltling Road Initiative. And this is important. Now, we do know that China wants to take out or take over Taiwan. They believe that Taiwan is inherently part of China. Now, we do know that China believes that the North China Sea is inherently part of China. We don't know why, but we do know they believe that. We know that they believe that all this is theirs, which I guess kind of, sort of, I don't really know. Now, there's the Belton Road Initiative. Now, the Belton Road Initiative is stated like this: one road, one, I know I'm going to butcher this, but one road, one lane, all leading back to China. And I know I butchered it, but what they're wanting is a bunch of roads that kind of splinter off, but the main road that goes off comes back, and then you have Beijing in the center. And they want the final road, or the end of the road, goes all the way to South America, and it ends at South America. So this road right here would continue straight down and end in Australia. This road would end in Sri Lanka. So that's the plan, is these roads, like this road would come out here and go into Japan and so forth. It would be great for infrastructure, and it would help tremendously. The problem for everyone is that it goes to Beijing. It does not help everyone. It does not help the world economy. It only helps Beijing. So the other big problem is that China is sitting there and saying, hey, we will come in and loan you massive amounts of money. Let's say they'll come into somewhere like Cambodia and say, hey, you need a bridge, a building, an airport. We'll loan you $500 million. Now you have such and such amount of time to pay us back. And if they cannot pay them back, which most countries cannot, then Cambodia would have to, and I'm just using Cambodia as an example because it is right here. Then Cambodia would have to offer up a port, the airport, or some other infrastructure place that China could use. If Cambodia does not have an airport, a port, or anything else that China could use, then China would seek people or food or something else. So after China offered all this money, then people would come help China, or they would ask for agriculture in return. They might ask for both. So these Cambodians would be in great debt financially, or labor, or agriculturally, to the Chinese, which would could cause mass starvation if Let's say there's a drought next year and there wasn't enough food for the Cambodians. And once again, I'm just using an example, and I'm using just, one extreme. There in Africa, there was a port that was needed, and most of the time, it's usually ports, airports, or agriculture. There have been cases where China has demanded people. So I'm just using examples. So this Beltling Road Initiative has been called a very dangerous or militaristic problem due to the fact that the ports, airports, and other situations could cause future problems due to the fact that China is now growing from one place or one country, and they're opening to ports in other territories. So I just wanted to explain that, yes, I started out this video talking about, Russia, but now that Russia has expanded their alliance, which in the first video I was telling you that Russia could potentially ally with China, and now they have, and that could cause problems. Now you're seeing the potential problems that, hey, China has been preparing for war. And now you're seeing the potential problems that this could cause. So, and I'm not saying that, hey, we're definitely going to war, but if you start adding up the cards, then you might want to look for, hey, what's down the road. Now, give me 1 second here. Found out it's easier to pause and just then try to erase all this. Now, I do want to I want to show y'all that you do have North Korea right here. They are a cause for concern. You have China. Their border is with North Korea. Now they have been shooting their ICBMs. They usually do them in the Sea of Japan. They have shot a few in Japan. There was one, I believe it was in Tajikistan, for whatever those I can't say them. They're over here. Right over here. I can't say it. Anyways, now, so you have your issues with North Korea. I don't believe that that's a current concern, but you can't really tell with North Korea. Now, I do believe that with China, you will potentially see that alliance coming up with China and Russia and North Korea. I do also believe that there will be a few more alliances going on, maybe Afghanistan, Pakistan, maybe Iraq, something else coming up with that. Now I'm done with the coloring and all that great stuff. So everyone should be happy. I'm happy. Okay, so we do have earnings coming up tomorrow. It should actually give us kind of an insight. One, I'm stepping away from the earnings. Keep an eye on oil. If oil continues to go up, countries are going to be probably saving or keeping reserves of oil. That should be concerning. But where did I see this? Let me scroll down here.